Hello, it's Reverend Lucious Conway, your write-in candidate for the District 2 Board of Police Commissioners up for election November 4th of this year. I want to recap, just got out of the community meeting, which was adjourned for lack of a quorum. Of the 11 Board of Commissioners, 11 commissioners, only 4 appeared. And so a quorum in that instance, according to the city charter, would have been 6 people. 6 people didn't show up. The meeting was called to order. I think it was a police chaplain that prayed. You know, the police seem to participate a lot on this civilian review board. It's a civilian review board. And I'm still flabbergasted by the amount of police participation in leadership on this civilian review board. That should raise some eyebrows and some questions in some people's minds. Now, so anyway, they went straight to public comments, and I made my comments. I'm going to read my comments to you that I made. It went like this. I wasn't able to get it all in because they only give you 2 minutes. So I'm going to share with you what I shared with them. Good afternoon, Commissioners and Detroit. I'm Reverend Lucious Conway, a longtime SSD advocate and your write-in candidate for District 2 in the November 4th election. I come before you as a neighbor, a pastor, and someone who believes deeply in the power of community to reshape policing in the city. On May 23rd, you received 2 groundbreaking blueprints: the Detroit Mobile Community Empowerment Workshop Proposal and the Office of the Chief Investigator's Written Investigative Protocol Manual. These aren't dusty reports gathering cobwebs. They're living guides to transparency, accountability, and true partnership between Detroiters and those sworn to protect us. But right now, our system is straining under its own delays. The citizen complaints data sets shows hundreds of open investigations, some stretching years with no public status updates, and Detroiters often wait months just for a basic acknowledgement of their complaint. Despite drafting an OCI manual, there's no published timeline or dashboard showing how and how quickly cases move from intake to resolution. Without clear protocols, trust erodes. Requests for dashcam video and incident reports routinely receive repeated 30 to 60-day extensions beyond the 10 business day statutory deadline, leaving families in the dark and threatening due process violations. That's grounds for suit. I skipped a couple of paragraphs. I'm going to share them with you, but I'm going to go back to what I said to them. As we edge closer to November, remember your legacy isn't measured in re-election or titles, but in the groundwork you lay now. Will you leave behind an office hallowed by indecision or a platform brimming with clear community-driven policies, published timelines, and accountability metrics? Now, at the end of my 2 minutes, of course, they muted me and whatever, and they started talking. So immediately, Chairman Woods goes to, I think his name is Jerome Warfield, the Chief Investigator, who said, well, he's not right about that because y'all doing the complaints. So Warfield says, we've been closing cases the last 3 to 4 weeks. Over the course of the last 4 months, we closed 910 cases. And we got 60 cases waiting to be signed off on by the board. We'll come back to that. No, we're going to deal with that now. So you can fry chicken with your mouth. Follow me. I can tell you I just fried a batch of fried chicken. I ain't got no chicken to show you. I ain't got no chicken for you to taste. I'm just talking. So Jerome is just talking because he can't guide me to a platform, to a portal, to a website where I can see anything, where I can check the veracity, the truth of what he just stated. And he thinks, well, I can say it. Listen, if you have no proof, keep your mouth shut. You closed 910 cases. Where they at? Where can we see it as the public? Where can we see that you're doing the job, that the job is getting done? This is what we call accountability and transparency. Look up the definitions of the word Accountability and transparency is not you saying you doing something. This is a big problem with some people who get in positions and they don't know what the devil they doing. And that's what we have. We have a lot of ignorant people in positions where we need somebody with brains. Okay, so anyway, he's saying, and we're projecting that by the end of the year, we'll have that backlog done. We'll have the 1,600 backed up complaints. 1,600 backed up complaints. 1,600 backed up complaints done. Complaints are still coming in. They've received 500 civilian complaints from January to this date that they haven't touched. Look, I'm not an idiot. I'm far from an idiot. I know you're far from an idiot. And I really believe they're far from an idiot. But they don't expect you to see, become aware of what they are and are not doing other than collecting checks. And while they're talking about how small the stipend is and how much more it should be because they got to make the meeting every week, you're not doing the work. The commissioners are not doing the work. The people at the office of the Chief Investigator, they're not doing the work. At least they're not doing the work efficiently or effectively. So, Commissioner Bernard, the seat I'm about to take, she picked up on what I said and she said, okay, so of course, Chief Investigator Warfield goes on and on and on about bringing on more staff to do the job. Bringing on more staff to do the job. We're bringing on more staff and we're able to do more, bringing on more staff to do the job. And so then Commissioner Bernard said, and he was talking about, and we've got the SOP. Well, SOP is the standard operating procedure, but the standard operating procedure they're using wasn't developed by the Board of Police Commissioners. It was developed by the City of Detroit for their processing of their complaints for the water department and the code enforcement. That complaint process is what they're using at the BOPC, and they need something specific for the BOPC that addresses police misconduct complaint processing, not water board complaint processing that's been modified to fit and a thinking person who's done his research in best practices knows where this works best. They have separate systems and processes for the type and function that they are established to execute by charter. Okay, so she says to Commissioner Bernard, District 2, the seat I want, says to Office of Chief Investigator Jerome Warfield, okay, so I want you to get that SOP posted because a lot of people are asking, what is the process, what is the policy that's being followed to address these complaints? And he says, well, the SOP we using is from 2013. But then I think it was updated it was updated in 2021 or 2022. You think. You're over the office. You're supposed to know what the standard operating procedure in your office is and how recently it's been updated. And as his best guess, it was updated in 2021 or 2022. He don't know. And so she said, well, I need it posted. And he says, well, we can't post it because it's got too many errors in it. It's so many, grammar errors and commas and periods and where they ain't supposed to be. Are you hearing what I'm saying? This grown man who's making buku dollars as a chief investigator is talking about we can't produce a legible document that's probably all of 2 to 3 pages, I imagine, long. We ain't got nobody in our office that can draft one, copy one, and put it out there. Okay, so this is what we got. This is what we got going on. All right. So now sometimes I wonder, do these people even have a high school diploma or a GED? Okay, so now, he's going back and forth. She said, well, you can still get somebody to proofread it and post it. No, and he just keep him and hawing. We can't post it. 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 And she said, well, it needs to be posted because next Thursday, that's June 5th, community meeting, be there. Next Thursday, well, the policy committee wants to put forth a new complaint process procedure. And the process procedure we created is based on that Humpty Dumpty standard operating procedure we talking about. And we need that to show the people how we base our complaint processing policy on the Humpty Dumpty standard processing procedure. He kept resisting, but we can't post it. It ain't ready. We can't post it because it ain't ready. And then Chairman Wood say, well, to Commissioner Bernard, well, you can fix it. He sent it over to your office, so you or somebody in your office can fix it. And then we can vote on it next week. Next Thursday, I'll be ready to vote on it. And so I'm like, okay, fine. And so they said posting on the standard operating procedure and changing the complaint processing or the complaint process policy for processing the police misconduct complaints. So they're still going back and forth over this. And she's saying, Bernard is saying to Wood, Commissioner Bernard, District 2, Chairman Wood, I'm not sure what district he's from at this point. We can't keep kicking the can down the road, which is something that I had said in my email to all of them. We can't keep kicking the can down the road. We got to deal with this. People are concerned about this. The public is concerned about this, and it makes us look incompetent. You are incompetent. It's obvious. This man is saying, we've got a standard operating procedure. I don't know when it was last updated, and it looked like a middle schooler typed it. And then we'll say, well, we can't put it out there like that, because it make us look unprofessional. Man, you make us look unprofessional every time you open your mouth. Okay, so anyway, they keep going on and on and on and on. But they never... Well, I'll say this. The conclusion they seemed to come to was there will be no posting of a standard operating procedure anytime soon. Number one. Number two is they supposedly are going to vote on a new complaint process policy on next Thursday, June 5th. However, Commissioner Bernard indicated that they can't vote on that without having the standard operating procedure in order to point to the standard operating procedure as the rationale for why the complaint processes are now changing. Okay, so that's what's going on. That's what's going on. I've got a fresh, proofed protocol manual for Warfield's office. But one of the things that I would be advocating for is to get him out. Get him out of the office of Chief Investigator. Get him out. If the head is screwed up, everything below is going to be screwed up. I don't care how many people you hire. And it got screwed up under his watch. He couldn't straighten it out. He still ain't got it straightened out. All he doing is saying stuff. Show us where they at. And then Woods going to throw shade on Bernard. So Chairman Woods going to throw shade on Commissioner Bernard. Well, the only people who taking these folders home, apparently they do take, the commissioners do sign off on complaint closures, etc. And Commissioner Woods said it's only him, Commissioner Bell, and a third one that he mentioned that I don't recall at the moment. Only the three of them take the folders in order to sign off. And if more of the commissioners took folders home with them, and we could close a lot more of them. Everybody want to check. Yeah, you got it. But don't nobody want to work. And that's what happens when it's about money and not ministry. That's what happens when it's about me and not us. I'm about us. That's why I'm on my nickel and I'm doing what God has told me to do, to fight for justice, because justice means something to me. I'm in this for the cause of justice and righteousness and the people who cannot speak for themselves. A little something else I want to read for you. The Detroit Board of Police Commissioners is our city's civilian, not retired cop, civilian voice in police oversight. They set police policy. They review complaints and investigations of police misconduct. They ensure that the processes are transparent in executing those things that I said. So you're supposed to know what the policing policies are. You're supposed to know on what basis do they review and process complaints and investigate them. That would be the SOP that don't nobody want you to see. And those processes need to be transparent because the civilians need to answer to the civilians. Here's what we do and here's how we doing it. If you can figure out a better way to do it, let us know and we can try it if it seems feasible. When we hold hearings with the police, we should be demanding timely complaint resolutions from our staff and publish clear protocols for our staff. We build trust between Detroiters and those sworn to protect us. Strong oversight protects, promotes, and provides for the prosperity of our city and all of its citizens. And we've got to keep pushing for accountability, community-driven reform, and a safer Detroit for all of us. You better vote for me. You better write my name, Lucious Conway, because I believe on the commission, I can make some things happen. Now, I'm one man, but I believe that God is going to bless us with a fresh, thank you, Jesus, a fresh board of police commissioners. So we don't have to deal with all this cronyism and ignorance, plainly. I mean, I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on anybody or put anybody down, but listen, you are not where you're supposed to be if you can't do the job. You need to get out the way. That's just the bottom line. Okay, write in my name. God bless you. I'm going to have some lunch.